Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. Brian Winnekins from the NAFB convention. And thank you to our NAFB sponsors, including the Wisconsin Soybean Association and Wisconsin Soybean Marketing Board, Wisconsin Corn Growers Association, Amplify Health, and Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. And I am with Carla today from the United Soybean Board, and Carla Schultz, and she is with the United Soybean Board. She's Communications and Education's Chair. She's also a Michigan farmer. And Carla, thanks for joining us. Well, first, Carla, tell us how things went back in Michigan this year.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me this morning. We are actually still harvesting, and maybe in Wisconsin they're doing the same right now. But we're about 50% done with our corn. So we've had a wet season with our corn. Soybeans were done at the end of October. I want to say they were a little below average. At the same time, we had some nice weather to get that finished up.
Well, let's talk about some of the things going on with Soybean Board, and that's Wisconsin and really U.S. soybean farmers' stake in the edible oils market. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's a really valuable market, right? As we think about soybean oil and what it can do for the American consumer, we think of the heart value that it has. So you think of the omega-3s that it has for your happy heart, we'll say, right? We also think of the economics behind it too, because we know it's a very economical oil for American consumers and global consumers to add to their foods. And you never want to say there are other oils that won't fit into that market, but at the same time, that could cost consumers $7.7 billion if another oil came into that market. So we really know that that's an oil that we want to use in food. It's versatile, right? It's neutral. And you have to think about all the demographics that actually can buy soybean oil. And that's a lot of people across the U.S. that could use it.
And meanwhile, along with the soybean oil, though, there's also that supply chain. Now, I know in Wisconsin they're looking at, CHS is looking at trying to do a crush plant. It's still in the process of building that, but that supply chain is the important part of this too.
I think that's a really good point, right? It's that holistic circle that always has to come together, because even when you make a product, you have to have a way to distribute it. And so right now we see the crush plants that are there, and I know there are some maybe coming online as well. At the same time, I think we've got enough crush plants. We really have to ramp up that demand and continue to make it an oil that is necessary and needed by not even the American consumer, but the global consumer as well.
Talking with Carla Schultz. She is United Soybean Board member. She's Communications and Education's Chair. She's also a Michigan farmer. I had a chance to talk with Carla during the NAFB convention in Kansas City. Mentioned your soybean yields were down. So what are some of the things the Check Off's doing to help with some of these losses? I know, did you have sudden death syndrome? Did you have some other issues that you had to deal with? What's the Check Off doing to help with finding solutions to those problems?
Yeah, that's a great question. And a lot of times you ask yourself, well, what is the Check Off doing for me that I can't do for myself as a farmer on the farm? And I think some of that value is in our return on investment. We do a return on investment study. This year it was a $12.30 return on investment, which is pretty big if you think if you're investing something at $1 and you're getting $12.30 back, that's pretty good. So we're working with a lot of universities, extension across the country to look at, those efforts like you just said. What are we doing for soil health? What are we doing for production on the farm? That's really one of those first and foremost investments we're making, because this is all Check Off dollars which are paid in by the American farmer. So we are constantly looking at that. Granted, it's always going to be diversified, right? Across the country, we all have different climates, different soils. And so one thing I know on our farm is really looking at our soil health and what does our program look like? And that's looking at investments that have made by USB and also our own local agronomists.
And you can find out more. Just visit the United Soybean Board's website as well. We've been chatting with Carla Schultz from the United Soybean Board here at the NAFB convention. I'm Brian Winnekins for WRDN.